Welcome everybody, this is How to English, Teach and Learn with Gav and Em.
It's a podcast about teaching and learning English as a foreign language.
All opinions stated are personal and references will be given where necessary. Welcome Em.
I think that should have been where possible, but it doesn't matter.
I think I did it wrong, didn't I?
Where necessary, why not?
Episode 43, Organising Stuff.
Organising stuff. What kind of stuff?
Well, teaching stuff, learning stuff.
Yeah. Are you into organising?
I did spend a long time organising things and now I don't have to because it's all already in the right place.
Well, that was very, what's the word? When you see the future, when you predict what you're going to need to do in the future, when you have like a... there's a really good word for that.
Vision.
Kind of visionary of you, but I think it's like you have a... Is it prescience? Prescience? No.
It could be.
Is
I have
it
no
that
idea.
word? Have you got a dictionary?
No.
Prescient? Is that the right word? I think it might mean you're seeing into the future.
Prescient.
What's the pronunciation of it?
Prescient.
Okay. That's the word I'm thinking of. Anyway, coming back to it. Prescient, Gav. How did you know to do all that?
You mean having or showing knowledge of events before they take place?
That's the one I thought.
Prophetic.
With a th? Prophetic?
Prophetic.
Prophetic.
Psychic. Visionary. Clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Far-seeing.
I'm going to go with prophetic of you because that's nice and it sounds a bit like pathetic, but it's not. But it was very prophetic of you to see that was necessary because, Gav, when I started teaching, I was paper-based. And then I think I slowly, begrudgingly transitioned to computers. And for, I think, up until yesterday, because I took a few days off this week in order to organise my stuff.
Did you?
I did. I'll come back to that. But up until yesterday, I basically had an online folder called Teaching.
Oh.
And everything, and I mean everything, went into that folder.
Did it really?
Like timetables, lesson plans, reports, just every single thing connected to teaching. And It was just like a horrible... what would you call it?
What's the word?
What is the word? I can't think today. It was just a big box of...
A big mess.
It was a big mess of a box, of a folder, of a file, and I never really looked in it properly. And if I needed anything for a lesson online or any time, it would take me like half an hour to find stuff.
Doesn't sound very practical to me.
Not at all. So I thought I'd take the opportunity this week to organise my stuff.
Wow.
And it's taken me... about 4 days.
So you mentioned that you started paper-based.
Yeah.
Are you going to mention the pink boxes?
No, I wasn't going to mention those.
What are the pink boxes that you're most famous for?
I don't think I am famous for these pink boxes.
Are you not?
I think you started this rumour.
Oh, okay.
I might have at some point acquired or purchased a couple of plastic boxes that happened to be pink that I used to put my paper copies into... my hard copies.
And were they organised in some way?
They were.
How?
By grammar point, by vocabulary point. So basically, paper M was super organised on top of things. Computer M, nah. Computer M just dumped it all in a folder. And now, because we're online, mainly teaching online, I'm finding that computer M needs to be like paper-based M. So I'm having to very much modify my methods. So, yeah, I've spent the whole week just putting things in folders. So and it's beautiful now.
Didn't predict this then? You didn't
Not
think
like
this
you,
would
no.
be a long-term solution? It was just a temporary, like, grab a file, stick it in a folder in the computer, and maybe you'll need it later.
Well, I think my original idea was to have a backup of the pink folders, as you said.
Did you duplicate the pink folders into pink files?
Well, I didn't. I have actually called them the pink folder 1 and the pink folder 2 on my computer. So, yeah, I mean, now they already did exist on my computer, but not in an organised way. So now they also exist virtually.
Wow.
And it's identical to the reality. I'm just waiting for the right time to throw away the pink folders, like the real ones.
The real ones.
But that's going to be hard.
Maybe you could recycle them or
Yeah.
use them for something else.
Yeah. I don't mean I probably will keep the folders, but what's inside the folders probably just doesn't need to exist anymore in the real world.
So you've completely moved from paper-based to digital format.
I'm trying. I'm really trying, because I've also got lots of lesson notes and plans and stuff like that also exist in real life, but I have now put them all on my computer, and now I don't see the need for actual paper versions of them.
Okay.
So now I'm like, I should probably just chuck them away.
Probably.
But coming back to you, like, how did you see this? I mean, this was before we went online because of this whole pandemic thing.
I was teaching online at least 5 years ago.
But you still were going out face to face, seeing people.
Yeah,
but what made you suddenly, or not even, what was it suddenly? Did you just never think you needed it physically, or did you always just think it's all going to be online eventually?
I realised that having a PDF copy or a JPEG copy of all the documents that I taught with, worksheets from my favourite books like English File, Market Leader, Ready For, Macmillan.
Yeah.
That it would be better if I had digital versions. So, for example...
Why? Why better? Why did you think it was better then to have them online?
Because I knew that I could store them on my computer, and if I needed them, I would just copy them to a USB stick,
right,
take them into the office, plug the USB straight into the machine, press copy for as many students I had, and then take those with me.
I do remember you doing that, and I remember thinking, oh, you're so technical and you're so futuristic.
Wow.
There's me going through each book, print, page, whatever, for that thing, and doing it over and over and over, and just thinking, why haven't I got this just in a folder somewhere on my computer that I can just print this thing that I need? And like you said, we've got favourite books, so it makes sense to have these pages that you love in a folder, and that's also what I've spent my time doing, getting the right page and the audio to go with the pages.
That's
and
really
the
organised.
Tape script.
Wow.
Because you don't always want to teach the whole book.
No.
So now, I've got folders for, money pages out of Market Leader with all the audio that go with it, and it's like an hour lesson on its own in a
So it's
folder.
a whole pack. You could actually take all of that in, print it off, teach it, play the recordings. Done.
Exactly. And if I'm not teaching in reality, like face to face, I've just got it there on my laptop. So if I need to teach it, it's all there in that folder, and I'm not like, hang on a minute, I've just got to find the audio in this folder, and the page, I'm sure it's number 67.
That's very organised.
Well, I think this has taken me all this time.
That's what I've been doing for the last 5 years, teaching like that.
You've just done it as you've gone along then.
Yeah.
As you've done the lesson, you've thought, well, I'll keep that
Yeah, because I really liked the activity or the page in the book, and I thought, well, that is definitely going to come up again. Somebody wants to talk about money, so, all right, make a PDF of that page, stick it in this folder, call it money, and then every time I got something else, I've probably got a folder with that, and just put more stuff in there.
It's brilliant. It's such a good way to do it. And if you've got the not the hindsight, that's the opposite. If you've got that foresight, the opposite of hindsight, to actually do it as you go and before you have a lot to manage, you haven't got to do what I've just done, which is spend a week doing it.
That's amazing.
So, what are we...
I am at the position where maybe I've got too many things in that folder that says money. It's just full of activities, and now I actually don't know which ones I like the most, so maybe it's a bit too much. That's the problem with digital versions. You can have as many as you want, and I've got videos, I've got audio, these are big files now. And
you've said before you like going to different places, and you also like doing things sort of fresh. You don't like going back too often, so I guess you would just keep finding new stuff.
That's also a problem, is I just find something new and use that instead.
And then stick it in the folder. Well, so you've got a different problem where you've just got lots of stuff.
I'm accumulating too much stuff, maybe.
But at least it's kind of categorised, which is good.
It is. Would you like me to tell you a little about my system?
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
So I've got a folder on my computer, And it's called, can you guess what it's called?
Teaching.
It is called teaching.
That's what my folder's called.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What are the chances?
I've called mine all teaching, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know why. Emphasis on all.
Rather than just teaching. Have you got another one called some teaching?
No.
Okay. So I've got teaching folder, and then within that folder I've got O1 business. Below that is O2 general. O3 exam. And then I've got some others which are, so I've got a topic folder, because obviously a lot of the other folders are divided into grammar points, into vocabulary, specific things like that, or even, for example, the business is divided into presentations, functional language, meetings, negotiations, and then I've got job specific folder within the business one. Right. So then if you're HR specialist, or if you're in finance, so I've got a folder for each of those.
So it's more topic based than it is sort of grammar based, would you say? Like present perfect would be included in all of these
I'll
things.
go back. So each folder, so for example, the business is divided into grammar points. It's also divided into vocabulary. It's got a functional section, and then each of the different parts like presentations, negotiations, etc., etc.
Yeah,
and
my
the
question,
same with the general.
Yeah, but
English.
My question is, for example, in one of the business books, they've got like a presentation lesson for talking about past simple. Yeah. So where would that go in your system? Would it go in presentations, or would it go in past simple, or would it go in both?
The business folder is not really grammar based.
Oh,
it's more topic based.
Right. Well, that's logical.
Yeah. The general one, as I was saying, is a bit more confusing. So as you say, there are crossovers between different levels and also different topics. Sometimes they cover some grammar. So the title that I give each of the files will be, for example, adjectives and adverbs might be divided into adverbs of time. And then, if it crosses over into expressions with idioms or something, then the title will contain all of those keywords. So what I do, rather than going through each folder, I tend to search in the search bar for the keywords I'm looking for, and then it will give me the lessons, and I'll think, okay, that's probably the best one because it's closer to what we need.
That's very good.
And I did start saying about topics as well. So apart from my folders, we've got the business, general and exams, I've also got a topic space folder. So that will be just if I want to talk about
food or something.
Yeah, food or something, exactly.
Okay.
But again, that could be confusing because that could be in the general folder that's also got a food section. So there's a bit of a crossover and it gets a bit confusing sometimes. But overall, when I put in the search, I'll get all of the files that I'm looking for.
Okay. I should have consulted you really before I organised mine, because I haven't called my file, like each document, I haven't really focused on the name of it.
What have you called them?
Oh, I think there's a lot of untitled. But I just thought...
Number one, number two, number three.
I just thought more about the folder than the documents. So then I'll do the same as you. I'll search my computer and it will come up, adjectives, and it will be in a folder. And then I have to open that folder and still try and find the document I'm looking for. But I'm never going to remember what they are, just from the name. But you can do, like the view on your folder, so you can see little thumbnails of them all, which this is what I want, which... also brings me to the other thing that's taken me such a long time to do, is to transfer or convert everything to PDF, because I don't know what kind of files they were, but they weren't visible as a thumbnail. So I've done a lot of that sort of conversion thing.
Okay.
And also like Word documents that I've made worksheets of, that I've then had to convert into PDF just because it looks nice on the screen when you're doing an online lesson. People don't really want to see the Word document unless you want to edit that, but you can edit a PDF as well. I just find PDF easier to work with sort of visually.
Okay.
So now I've got 2 copies of everything. One's a Word document and one's a PDF.
That's confusing. But at least, they're more editable, as you say, the Word documents.
Yeah. Exactly, like country specific and stuff.
Exactly. If you want to go back and change, instead of a conversation between Pierre and Sabrina, you might decide that it's a conversation between Fiona and Francis.
Right. Just for the fun of it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I was trying to think of names that were much
Those all sounded
more...
very French.
They did. They all sounded really
French. That's just my opinion. You might want to stop with the stereotypical names. But anyway.
I think stereotypical names work perfectly well, thank you.
Gav, would you like a tea?
You know I only drink coffee.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that could be arranged.
Oh?
Followers, if you enjoy listening, watching or reading Gav and Em's How to English Pod, visit coffee.com/How to English Pod.
That's coffee, ko-fi.com/How to English Pod. And it would be lovely if you bought us a tea or a coffee to show us support. You could even get a mention on our show if you'd like.
So yeah, I mean, this is the other thing. It gets a bit infinite in the end. You sort of end up thinking, well, how many copies of one thing are you going to have? And you just have one copy to then change, and then you delete the ones you make extra.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all very complicated.
What
These
if-
are big decisions.
What if our listeners are still paper-based?
Well, how can you be if you're teaching online?
Well,
Show it just up to the camera.
yeah,
Look at this worksheet.
yeah.
It's tricky though, isn't it? I think.
You're right. It really helps to have a digital version because then you just email it or you share it or
nice copies as well, like scans, good scans.
Yeah.
I hate a bad scan. That's
Yeah.
a bit of a pet peeve of mine.
Okay.
So I'm really trying to just rid myself of all the stuff that I've got, folders and...
Well, that's why this episode's called Organising Stuff.
Yeah, it's very freeing when you do get rid of it all, but it's a bit scary too. Liberating. But it's a bit scary too, because I do like my comfort blanket, my notes, my, things that I've written down and all this is just paper that just accumulates.
Yeah, I can understand. But you can still scan the copies that you've written on.
Yeah, which is another huge job.
That's another huge job.
But I think as well, I'm very final, in my now I'm online. That's it, I'm online now.
I'll never return to paper.
Well, I hope we will end up going back out at some point and actually sort of teaching face to face. In which case, then what do I do? It's all virtual. What do you do, Gav? When you go, you said you go in and you print if you need it.
I've also got in the habit of sending documents to students and saying, this lesson we're going to cover this topic. Here's a worksheet.
In advance.
Print one for each student, because I don't always know how many students will be there.
Do they mind?
No.
That is such a good tip.
And also it can give them a bit of time to look at the worksheet before the lesson, which can be an advantage, actually.
And you don't need anything. You walk in with just a pen in your back pocket.
And I say, make sure you print an extra copy for me.
Really? So then you just walk in, they hand you a copy of what you're
working on. Can I borrow a pen?
Wow.
No, I'm pretty organised. But yeah, sometimes because we're quite remote. We're travelling all over the city. We might be going from one office to another office. We can't be carrying all this stuff around with us.
But I used to. I did. I had a bag. It was a really heavy bag. It had everything. It had all folders and notes and stuff.
You can spot an EFL teacher, can't you, with their rucksack and the laptop in there, all copies of teachers' books and the students' book.
Bottle of water.
The harassed face.
Umbrella.
Yeah.
Pair of scissors. I don't want to go back to that really. I really want to get into the the Gav style of, hey everyone, let's just do this thing and
Yeah, as we mentioned before, I sometimes carry my tablet around with me and I just open a worksheet on there, or I've got an activity, something that I've written, and I'll show it to the student, or I'll just use it myself, say, okay, I've got some questions here for you. Do you want to give me some answers? And we work through it that way.
Envious of you being able to do that. I need to do that. After 14 years of teaching, I should be able to do that.
Paper free is lovely. Yeah.
Note free, paper free, pen free. We don't need it anymore. I think
we don't use pens very often. They're a bit outdated.
This is the future. We really need to be on board.
Yes. I had a feeling that you would focus a lot on teaching. And you do remember this podcast is How to English Teach and Learn with Gav and Em. So we need to focus as well on the learners.
Yes.
Although I know some of our teachers are also learners, which is wonderful. And I myself am a learner. I'm constantly learning things. Also, in case people thought, hold on, organising Didn't Gav and Em talk about time and timing, organising your time? And yes, you're right. And if you haven't heard that one, go back to episode 26. Yes, you knew that was coming. But I've had a little delve into the world of education, Em, as I like to from time to time. Mm-hmm. And I popped on down to yabla.com.
Okay, yeah.
It's a website.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what they did is they prepared 8 learning strategies to master a language. And I really liked some of the points they made.
Okay, is this about organising?
Of course it is.
All right, organising your thoughts?
Yeah.
Organising your study habits?
Yeah.
Organising your timetable?
Less so.
Your notes?
Well, let me read them to you.
All right, I hope it applies, Gav, because you do go on these tangents. You know,
am I digressing?
Think of the topic. Keep to the theme.
There's maybe a small digression, but I've got some really good points here.
Go on, give me these points.
Okay, number 1, keep a diary in your target language.
That fits to organising.
See?
Yeah. Keep a diary. Nice. So what, like a blog? It doesn't have to be a written paper diary, does it? It could be a blog.
That's why I'm just going to give you some information. I'm going to give you the headings and you're going to just flesh them out for me.
Okay.
That was the first one. The second one, make lists of words and expressions. Organise them. See, it's got the word organise.
That is
organise them alphabetically or by topic. For example, animal idioms.
Yeah, I like that. Why would you organise them alphabetically? Just like a random list of words alphabetised. That doesn't sound very useful.
I don't know. Or you could use
Sorry, I'm not criticising, but
you could use some sort of colour coding or verbs, nouns, adjectives.
But maybe that is a good thing, to just stick all your words into a Word document and then organise them
from A to Z
in different ways.
Yeah.
So you are refreshing your way of seeing them, and then you can just sort of go down the list and think, what does that connect to? That's actually quite nice.
I like that.
So you could have like apron, aardvark, apple, and then you'd have to sort of maybe make a note of, is it an animal? Is it a food? Is it a piece of material you wear to protect your clothes?
Oh, I like all of that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I've got a little tip actually. This reminds me. Can I add a tip to this?
Well, I just added something. So
okay.
Go on. There's no rules here, Gav.
Well, I was thinking, one tip that I always give my students is sit down. Think about words that you use every day or expressions that you use every day. It could be at work, could be at school, could be at university, wherever it is. Just think, okay, in my language, these are words that I use every day. Nice. Write them down between 20 to 30. I mean, if you can get 50 words or expressions there, I would be so pleased. And then translate them.
Oh, that's lovely.
Into English.
Yeah. So think about processes, think about nouns, look around where you are and think, do I need to be able to say these words? Can I just say you don't have to sit down?
No, I meant it metaphorically.
All right, okay.
I meant take time too.
Okay, yeah.
If anybody else has got any other super tips, I would like to hear them, by the way. I might steal them and pretend they're mine and add them to the podcast. But...
No, we won't be stealing. This is, a community of learning.
Yeah, all right.
It's not stealing.
Okay, number 3. Make flashcards.
Yes, you can make them on apps.
Ask your friends and family to test you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
I've got another tip.
Okay, go ahead.
A student gave me a tip the other day. Take lots of notes during their English lesson. I really like that part. And remember to take your vocabulary notebook to the toilet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe get one with one of a plastic
in case there's no
back.
toilet paper.
No, to study.
Uh-huh.
Because you've got a bit of time in there, possibly. Oh, where else are you going to sit down and,
right.
thumb through a page of your vocabulary book? I think it's a really good tip.
Maybe we should leave it there.
All right, then. Number 4, test yourself regularly. All right, we know that. Number 5, immerse yourself everywhere.
Yeah, we're getting off of organising now, but this is a good tip.
Organising as in use sticky notes. Put them everywhere.
Immerse yourself everywhere.
With sticky notes. Listen to your favourite weekly podcast.
Yeah, organised into some way of...
I'm organised. This week I'm listening to Gav and Em. Comes out on Friday.
Yeah,
very good.
Okay.
And joining Facebook groups and discussions with other people online in English.
Okay.
Number 6, surf the web in your target language.
Yeah.
For recipes, news, sports, finance, switch apps to English. Mm-hmm. Number 7, be proactive when you're reading.
We've just thrown out organising now, haven't
Make
we?
notes.
I can't think of anything to connect it.
And try discussing the topic with someone else in English.
All right, make notes could a stretch go
Okay,
into
the
that.
last one, watch movies and TV and stuff. We always say that, right? Okay, so maybe I changed the topic slightly there. But anyway, coming back to organising.
Yeah. Can I talk about teaching again?
Of course you can. Of course you can. As long as you talk about students learning as
it
well.
wasn't actually going to be about that. Well, I mean, I'll say as I like to really connect with my students. I have a folder. I don't know if they know this, if they're listening, but I have a folder. It's like a police file on each student.
Do you?
Yeah. So basically,
has it got a photo on it?
No,
Okay.
God, I'm not that scary. But I've written notes like, I don't know, should I say? But just family things, pets, events,
favourite colours.
Happen. Yeah, if it's relevant. So just like that first lesson where they have, you do the needs analysis and all, just as you go through the course, getting to know people, I just make little notes just as I'm teaching, just sort of, getting married next year.
This might be why you're so successful.
I don't know. But I think it just helps me remember. I do actually remember without looking at the notes. I think it helps me remember by writing it down, as with students, by writing it down.
Exactly.
Sometimes
that's
it helps.
a good tip for teachers and students.
See,
so,
I'm
for
thinking about
example,
the students.
when you see a cat walking by in the background, you look at your nose. That's Jeremy the cat.
Exactly.
And the student says, "How do you remember my cat, Jeremy?"
Yeah.
And you say, "I just love you guys."
Exactly. It's all info. It's all gen. You get the gen. You've got the way in there. So yes, it's just really useful. And if you forgot maybe something really important was happening in their lives, it's good to write it down just so you remember. So I even have I've got my full page notes that stay in the folder all the time, but then I've got little post-its that I add. Birthday party of daughter last Saturday.
Right.
So that I know to ask next time.
Oh, that's really good.
How was the party?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you remembered. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I
wonderful. Or you had food poisoning last week.
did. Yeah, have you fully recovered from that? You're going to eat prawns again. That it's all really nice to just connect in that way.
like it.
And if you've got, as I've got quite a lot of classes, if you've got 20 classes a week, it's going to really be hard to remember whose birthday was it. I can't remember if it was somebody's or
That's
whatever.
true. Yeah, you had your big 50th last year.
Yeah, exactly. That's something you can be just sort of doing as you teach. I think
like
in
that.
the
I
lesson,
really like
you haven't
that.
got to do it in your own time. I just
Yeah.
tend to do it as I'm going through the lesson.
Okay.
It's easier now we're online. I can make little notes.
That's really effective because that's really good for building your relationship with the student.
Yeah,
I think that really helps learning.
definitely. So I like doing that.
And should the students do the same thing? Should they be making notes?
About
Anything?
their classmates?
Yeah.
I mean,
About
no.
their teacher?
I don't think so.
Vocabulary?
Vocabulary, yeah.
Okay,
I don't think
good.
they should be making notes about the name of other people's pets. Well, unless they want to, that's fine. But I would say just focus your energies on English and learning the language.
Okay.
I mean, really, I should be focusing on teaching it. But I just like to, have that little bit of personal connection as well.
That's a real personal touch.
Yeah.
I think that must be very effective. So organising for you really is organising your files, organising your notes. That's really good for teachers and students, actually.
Yeah, it is. Coming into something that's not quite so student connected, but admin, Gav.
Admin.
Are you any good at keeping up with your admin?
I'm awful at admin. What is admin?
I think for teachers, it's sort of filling in your lesson, what you did, attendance, might be invoicing.
That might be my weakness, actually.
I think I remember, didn't somebody once ask you, someone in management once asked you, how are you at admin? And you said, awful.
Yeah.
And they looked really shocked.
They
that
did
you
look
were
shocked.
so honest.
I think when I was teaching kids, I had a student in the class for at least 3 months. And I never put them on the register. I didn't know they were there.
Uh-huh.
They didn't seem to mind.
Were they supposed to be there?
I think so. I'm not even sure now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is the sort of thing, if you don't check the register, if you don't fill in because a lot of this has also gone online, hasn't it? Like a lot of the companies I work for used to have these sort of paper registers where you got it signed at the end of the lesson.
Yeah.
You had to put in who was there.
Yeah.
Now it's all done on not even an app, it's just a website where you actually just fill in your lesson.
Well, that's good.
Each time. And it is amazing.
That's convenient. What do the students get?
I think they get an email to say they attended or they didn't attend.
Okay.
And if they have any query, it's like basically if everything's fine, they don't have to do anything.
Okay.
But if there's a mistake, then they reply.
Oh,
and
that's a
it
great
notifies
system.
the company.
I really like that system. That's better than filling in a worksheet and photocopying it or sending a copy or going
scanning it or
physically to the actual office, handing it in. Here's my invoice with my timesheets and everything.
Seems so archaic now to do that. But I remember the transition period was very stressful.
Okay.
Like so many people were like, oh, what's this new system? We don't like it. But now it's amazing. But it's getting into the habit of doing that again every time you have a lesson. It's easier just to go on the system, put it in.
Yeah.
Or otherwise you're doing it every week or month and it's going to take you a lot longer.
Yeah,
and you might not remember what you did, who was there. So I get into the habit of doing it after every lesson, which again is, it's a different way of being.
Yeah, I do that at the end of the month.
Do you?
Yeah,
God,
copy paste.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you remember who was at the lesson and who attended and you do all that?
Yeah, no, I do try and take note of who came to the lesson. But I mean, the details of the lesson, it's in the past, it's history. No? You're pulling a face at me now. Okay. Well, we all teach differently.
Cringe. You make me cringe. But okay. Yeah, we are different. Very different in that way.
So I also need to give a quick announcement to people to check out our YouTube channel. If you haven't been to the YouTube channel, go and check it out. Don't forget to follow us. Click on the bell icon to get notifications of new episodes. Lots of people are joining us there, so we'd like to see you there too. And you can check out the subtitles. We've actually got subtitles that are really up to date on the episodes.
Where's that?
YouTube which is great for students and also those with hearing impairment. So we want to support everybody. There's also a link to the transcript available in the show notes. So again,
amazing.
If you need any support, go and have a look. There's a PDF that will open up for you. You can read through it. So thanks so much. And thanks again to Patrick for your very, very kind words on YouTube. And also to Fast Philosophy, who said something really nice. And also to recent followers on YouTube, Amit and Adam. And loads of other people. So join the party, the YouTube party with Gav and Em. You can listen to the podcast.
Great.
All right, Em. Unless you've got anything else, because I am totally out of organising.
I'm done. I feel very organised, very structured. My mind is very clear.
Okay, so I think we've organised enough stuff for everybody.
I think so, but I'll probably do a bit more next week.
Okay, all right. We'll pop back next week, everyone, and you'll see the new episode, which, do we know what we're going to do?
No idea.
All right, then. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.